Assalamu alaikum everyone, Exhibition Cadet Sabr Shah from my channel, Exhibition Cadet 9936. So recently Pakistan has commenced surgical strikes into Afghanistan just the day before yesterday. And there are many reports from both the sides what has happened. But this is not my point of the video today. Pakistan did the surgical strikes. First, we need to see the background of that one. TTP, Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, we call them khawarijs, means they have been kicked out of the religion Islam, although they pretend to be Muslims, but that's what the term is coined, khawarij. I also call them Fitnail Hind, means the Indian propagandists. Yeah, that's the correct word. So they want to apply their Sharia, the Islamic law, which is again debatable, which Islamic law they're going to put into Pakistan once they come into power in Pakistan. Because Muslims have a lot of sects, about 120 plus sects, like Sunnis, Wahhabis, Deobandis, Brelvis, and so on. So recently, even in Afghanistan, the Taliban regime, we call them TTAs, Tehrik-e-Taliban Afghanistan, they have sent a fatwa, a sermon, telling that only the followers of Imam Abu Hanifa, one of the five biggest school of thoughts, and Hanafis are one of them. They're majority number two, but Barelvis, there was a madrasa in India that shoot out this new Barelvi Hanafi Muslims, majority in the world. So they ruled out that any other school of thoughts is, they call them the extension of Islam, but they don't call them the Muslims. I mean, they say the word, they are the Muslims who have deviated away. So that fact is going to stay there, that what kind of Islam they want to bring in. Okay? Although no matter what school of thought it is, unlike Christianity, unlike Judaism, unlike Hinduism, unlike Sikhism, unlike Baha'ism, unlike Buddhism, five basic principles of Islam are intact, and which are Tawheed. Number one is that there is no God but Allah. Number two is the prophethood. The last prophet is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him. And then comes the social alms, zakat, and the pilgrim, hajj, jihad, the way to strive and struggle for your life. That's the real meaning of jihad. And then fasting and the prayers. So these are, every school of thoughts is one on these basic principles. No one declares anyone else as the prophet. Anyone who declares anyone else as the prophet is being kicked out of Islam right away. But apart from these things, there are many other things too. So we call TTPs khawarijs, kicked out of the religion Islam. We don't own them, any of their actions. Same is the case with ISIS, ISIS. We also don't, by we, I mean all the school of thoughts. They're bigger, which you can call them priests. They agree on this one, that these two, what you call the school of thoughts, the Al-Qaeda and the TTP, sorry, we don't consider them in Islam, one thing. So they did many attacks in Pakistan recently, starting off one in the Islamabad High Court. The second one was in a mosque near Islamabad. Okay, it's not in the vicinity of the Islamabad, the capital. Islamabad is extended and it's really a huge area, but the real Islamabad, the capital where all these, the government buildings are, that's a very small area. So this mosque is even across from Rawalpindi, in the suburbs of Rawalpindi, but that's considered as the area in Islamabad. So about 100 people gave their lives, or their lives were taken by these terrorists. Then in Banu recently, the same thing happened. So they have been attacking Pakistani civilians. Okay. And recently they did an attack on a guy Lieutenant Colonel Gulfraz, Shaheed, martyr, because he was the mediator between, he could speak Pashto very well, so he was the mediator between the Pakistan army and the local Pashtun tribes. And he was doing his job very well, so he was targeted and he embraced martyrdom just 2 days ago. A motorbike rammed into him in the month of Ramadan. So keep in mind that in Ramadan, the fights are not allowed. By Islamic laws, there are 2 months in which you should not have a war with any country or any. But what can we do once the opponent is not abiding these laws and they call themselves as Muslims too? So we have to reply, otherwise we can't just keep sitting. So this is the Pakistani point of view. In the wave of these attacks, we had to retaliate. Now, what to do? Shouldn't we clean up things messy inside Pakistan first? Well, we have been working on that as well. A lot of the refugees from 1977 onwards, the Soviet-Afghan war, and Pakistan is the biggest country in terms of giving refuge to the refugees from any war. Initially, till 1988, in 11 years, we accommodated about 3 million refugees. And of course, they grow. They have their wives, so reproduction, this is human necessity. So they have grown up to like 5 to 6 million people in Pakistan at the moment. And none of them is a notable figure that has contributed towards Pakistan's economy or being a notable person. Hardly a few. Hardly. You can count them on fingers. But most of the population lives under the poverty level, which is like $0.78 a day, and they can't even earn that much money. If you say take the whole family, only the men, they go out for work. Women are suppressed and they stay inside and they're not allowed to come out. This is the whole story of Afghanistan. So this was the latest attack on the military convoy that made Pakistan to react during the month of Ramadan, and Pakistan did. So that was the whole background. Now, before I go into the further details of how these strikes were conducted, let's answer a few people who are saying, "Oh, you're killing your own Muslim brothers," okay, or especially the Indians and the Indian ministries, they're saying that, "Oh, in the month of Ramadan, Pakistan attacked. This is illegal. This is not according to the UN resolutions." Bros, Indians, you did that twice. Tried. Once on May 7th, 2025, and once in 2019, February 26th, in Balakot. You tried the same thing. How can you call the pot black? You are the kettle. So I can't see this hypocrisy over here. And then comes the Americans, the U.S. citizens. Most of them are immigrants from Afghanistan, so they are being the mouthpiece of the Afghans at the moment and saying utter bullshit. So, question from you as well. There's no justification of attacking Afghanistan in the first place back in 2001 when Americans attacked Afghanistan. It was not UN-backed. So precedent was set by the Americans and the allies, all those ISAF forces, not the NATO. There was bigger NATO. The ISAF forces, 42 countries, approximately 42 countries. All of you are the criminals in this precedent setting of attacking a country's sovereignty. So you guys have done it. You can't question us. Yes, any other country, even Somalia, can come up and question us and, "Hey, why are you doing this?" Well, then we can talk to them and we can, just like the points I gave just now, that we think that TTP is being supported by TTA because of their religious uniqueness and the similarities, the religious beliefs. So they can't stop them, and they can't even, okay, let's give them a benefit of doubt that they're not promoting them to do these things in Pakistan, these terrorist activities in Pakistan. But they can't stop them either, because if they do it, there would be a big backlash from their own community, religious community within the Afghanistan, and this Afghanistan present regime is going to have trouble. So we understand, totally understand. So then what are the options left? The options left are the precedent set by Israel, the ones they did in Qatar, the US, And then comes the Indians, right? So we are just following the suit. Do two wrongs make one right? Definitely not. A wrong thing is a wrong thing. Afghanistan is a sovereign border, and Pakistan should respect that. So mark my words here. But once we are cornered and we are not left with any other options, we negotiated. We have a contract signed with Qatar, in Qatar, with the TTAs about the ceasefire back just last year that happened. We followed that one on the terms that they would try to stop these TTPs, suicide bombers coming into Pakistan and attacking Pakistan. So once that pact is not there, yeah, then we will use the precedent set by the other countries and retaliate. It's the wrong thing, and UN should intervene. But again, what is UN? We know very, very, very well. So now let's come to the news about Pakistan did the surgical strikes. So a lot of things are coming up that Pakistan used the what you call the militants, not militants. I won't call them militants. The terrorists, those who got killed. About 100, more than 100 were killed in those incidents, in these attacks. So what are they saying? They're saying, oh, the fighter jets were roaming over Afghanistan area. Bros, this is not Soviet war. About 3 decades ago, when the fighter bombs were released, when the fighter jets had those kind of bombs that they had to come over the top of the target and then to release them, drop them, and go away. This is the modern era. Wake up, you Afghanis. This is called BVR, or guided missiles or laser missiles. So there are so many options Pakistan had to commence these attacks without even sending a single aircraft into the Afghan border. Because if you look at, I'm not going to name them because everything is on the news, all these areas, the 7 targeted areas, they are within 50 kilometers of Pakistani border. So all these areas, they are within the limits of, we don't need to fire PL-15s, by the way, they're air-to-air missiles, and PL-10s, they're air-to-ground missiles, or Taimurs, the guided missile, which we did just now, 600 kilometers range for a range of 50 kilometers, or the Rad missiles. We will use the other items in our shelf. So we just went, polished them around, dust them up, took them out, and I will tell you about like 3 missiles that had been probably, okay, again, I'm not a spokesperson of Pakistan Air Force. This is all based on my personal research. And I will I will show you all these ammunition Pakistan probably had used in yesterday's strikes. And I don't think so that we used JF Thunders or F-16s or J-10Cs to kill, I would call them the leeches, the worms, the midgets, those who come in and attack civilians. So these people, the terrorists, they still try to, because their people are going to believe that the air jets, went into Afghanistani territory and then did bombing, and they're roaming around, and not even a single video was sent of these jets coming in. It's an era of modern technology like Wi-Fi, internet, social media, but yet you won't find even a single video of these jets coming into Afghanistan and then bombing their places, or even after that. So the thing is, the internet in Afghanistan is not what people think. Most of their accounts are operated from India. So we have the proofs of that one as well, because Twitter has given us the option where this account has been based and where it's sending its things from. So it's easy for people to, find the source. And they are, of course, Indian-backed. So that's one of the things. No jets have entered Afghanistan spaces. Yes, the missiles we fired, and I will mention 3 of them. Number 1 is the Berk, B-A-R-Q. Berk means electricity or the lightning. And it's a very small missile, and that's carried by the NESCOM Barak. And Barak was the ride of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he went on the journey to Miraj. Miraj, not the aircraft, but That's what it's called. So Barak is the drone Pakistan uses for carrying these lightweight guided missiles, and Burke is one of them. 40 to 50 kilograms of explosives could be attached on 6 different bay points. So altogether, it's about 300 kilos it can carry, or less than that. I think less than 200 kilos. And that is used for moving targets and smaller targets. Moving targets, like there's a report by both the medias that a Toyota Hilux was attacked. So that was the job of the Burke, not JF Thunder, not Mirages, Rose 1, Rose 2, Rose 3, or J-10Cs or F-16s even. So this one, let's put it on one side. Now let's talk about the other ones. Now, the ones near the Pakistani border, like 10 to 20 kilometers vicinity, of course, Barak did the job. But then the further one, like 20 to 30 kilometers away, there comes the GIDS, Global Industrial Defense Security. There's an incorporation in Pakistan that has made this. They have upgraded the series of MK series of bombs, like MK80s. So 81, 82, 83, 84. So different, just like GF Thunder goes with the blocks. These bombs, they come with the different numbers after 8. So 81, 82, 83, 84. MK81, MK82, MK83, MK84. These are a bit bigger missiles that can carry about 250 kilograms of explosives. And they can carry at least 4 of them. So a ton of them. And then, again, these are also carried by Shahpur. Now, Shahpur 3 has been shown in Saudi Arabia recently in the Saudi Arabian exhibition of the international sellers held just recently. And Pakistan has shown Shahpur 3 in that one. But Shahpur 2, that's Block 2 of Shahpur drone, that's also capable of carrying these ones. And then comes LS6, the Lightning Storm. That's another bomb. Again, the maximum weight is 1,000 kilos. So, and the minimum weight is again 250, and that's also a laser-guided missile, and it can go towards the targets very easily. Now, what's the difference? Why we probably have used drones instead of the aircrafts? Although these are dropped, if an aircraft is used, these are dropped from about 10,000 feet. Minimum is 10,000 feet. And then it can go to the maximum distance of like 50 kilometers. I told you about in previous videos, the air density and the air pressure and the air resistance that makes a missile travel that far to the furthest range of its. So this one, 10,000 feet, it can go to the maximum range, and the precision is 4 feet to the left or to the right, to the front, to the back, 4 feet. That's the pinpoint accuracy, that's called. All 3 of them, Burke, LS6, and GIDS REK. REK is the range extension kit that has been installed on all 2 of them, not the third one. So this one can be put on an aircraft, like Mirages have the capability to take them, and JF Thunders also have the capability to take them. Why won't we use them? Again, economically, we don't need to use jets. Now, drones like Shahpur and Barak, they don't burn that much fuel. And the risk of taking this ammunition and dropping it, and even it's being shot by the ground forces, which, I mean, their guns are not, it's still not. I mean, I think they haven't reached to the American left ammunition, which can, from ground to air, Stinger missile kinds of thingies. And they still don't have the possession of that one. Otherwise, they would have shot down a few of drones of Pakistan too. So it's economical, it saves people, and it does the job the same way an aircraft would have done. Now, people will think that probably Pakistan wants to promote JF-17s, and that's why they want to show off, and they are doing this one. No, bros. JF-17 has so many awards on its shoulders that it doesn't need these midgets, killings. It has an award of killing the world's best air defense system, one of the best air defense systems, S-400s. And India has not confirmed or denied that. Denial would be in case of producing those two cheeseboard components of S-400, and they haven't presented that S-400 in 26th of January, their National Day parade. And it was the first time that S-400s were not part of that parade. So, bros, JF-17 has many more medals than killing these midgets. Now, the furthest most distance was about 60 kilometers from Pakistani border, Pakistan-Afghan border. Now, for that, probably Mirages had been used. But again, what ammunition they have taken, nothing else but these GIDS, REK, or LS6, because Mirages, Rose 1, Rose 2, Rose 3, they're capable of doing air-to-ground. Mirages were enrolled for air-to-ground battle initially, by the way, but Rose 1 was upgraded to air-to-air capability as well in early 90s, once we put the two side winders, and then we made the Mirages work as the air-to-air interceptor as well. And not only interceptor, but it could also lock and that's where we upgraded the radars, not the ASA radars. I think that was MK86 or M86 radar initially. I'm not here for the CSS competition or the exam where I should remember all the terminologies correctly. So pardon me for if there is some, because I don't write a script. I just go with whatever is in my mind. I just speak it out. Later on the editing, I will add up a few things if required. So what I'm saying is that we did equip Mirages back for air-to-air role as well, and that was successful. So for the longer distances, although drones could go into the Afghanistani area and then do it, but we didn't do that. I'm sure that probably Mirages were also not used. It was the drones, or if it were not the drones, then the most probable is the Mirages. They did the job. So this was all about the possible ammunition Pakistan probably had used for these strikes, and I've given all the logics and explanations why these strikes happened, and now all the propaganda that Quran was burned. These are all old pictures from previous incidents, gas cylinder explosion in Afghanistan, and recorded on Twitter by the other people tweets. And then they're sending the pictures of the dead children, and those children some of them were in Turkey in an earthquake death, some were in Baghdad, and some of them were in Yemen. Some of them are Palestinian kids who were bombed by Israelis. So they can't even come up with a correct picture of a child dead in these surgical attacks. But again, I said, my heart goes out for the civilians who get killed in these kind of combats, in these kind of missions. Civilians should be kept out of that. But then you come and attack our mosques. I don't want to say the worst thing, but let me say it out, okay? You people, Afghanis, are famous for bachabazi. What is bachabazi? That keeping a small child as your bitch. And all your sexual desires you fulfill on the kids, on the children. And these children have to be males. They have to be boys, not females. So this is called bachabazi. And even our Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan has spoken to BBC about that in clear and void word that this is inhumane. Like Epstein files, we are trying to put fingers on them, point fingers at them, that these world leaders, they were pedophiles. Yes, and these Afghan Talibans, they are pedophiles, and this is a part of their culture. I have been in their area don't consider me as a bacha, they can wish. But in different areas, if you have affair with a tribal leader's wife, he probably would forgive you. But if you have affair with his bacha is his, the biatch, a boy, a teenage or even a toddler boy, then you'll be dead. You'll be killed. So, of course, it's not a proper military. They are just, militia, a terrorist group. So they don't have those regiments or barracks or, the Kent area. No. They live with all these bachas and bachis and bakris means goats and sheep and dogs even sometimes. Well, for them, they go for the female one. But for humans, they go for the male ones. If someone is Afghanistani, please do tell me what's the logic behind that. Even you don't spare the fucking animals. Sorry for my F words. So keep on spreading the propaganda. So now, again, the video is too long. So I guess I'm going to conclude it here. That Pakistan did what it had to do. And congratulations to Pakistan for having 24 new aircrafts being sold to Somalia. The MOUs have gone one more step again, because buying an aircraft is just like, buying a car as well. You need to see a lot of things. So Somalians are interested in buying 24 GF-17s. And because of the economical conditions, I told you the non-security economy of these countries is challenged and has problems, very harsh lives of the common people. So governments really have to put up a good excuse to buy these sophisticated, even the cheaper ones or affordable ones, the jets. They have to tell their people as well. So politically, they want to get stabilized first. But Turkey and Saudi has promised them that any problem, just like in Libya, I told you, that Libya is also going through the same phase. And Saudi Arabia vouched for Libyans that once you buy these GF Thunders from Pakistan, they're going to give the equal amount of oil to Pakistan. So it's a win-win for everyone. Saudi, being a big brother, is helping Muslim countries establish their air forces. Pakistan is providing them the equipment, and Saudi is giving them financial help. It always does. It gives aid to Pakistan, help to Pakistan, and we always appreciate that. We are not those namak harams, those who backstab all of the helpers. Yes, they have been helping a lot, so that's the way they are helping Somalia as well. And this deal, once it's going to be final, 24 more jets in. So now the JF Thunder Tolly has increased to 420 that required to be exported. How Pakistan is going to do it, watch my previous video. I have already told in details. See you next time. Pakistan, Paindabad, PAF, Zindabad. Allah Hafiz.